Hi, Leaf Creative Arts. It's Sharon. When my late father first met my mother in the 1950s in Canada, I think it was love at first sight. He was smitten with her. He wrote her 12 romantic, gorgeous poems that declared his love for her. Well, my mother treasured these poems, and in turn, she gave them to me. And of course, they're one of my most treasured possessions, too. But my mother's aunt, my great Auntie Bessie, well, when she was walking out with her young man in the 1920s in Wales, well, it must have been love. My aunt worked in a typing pool in an office, and every day the girls would all roll in, take their hats off, their coats, sit down at the typewriters at their desk, and they'd work furiously for a few hours typing letters up and documents. Come tea break, all the girls would gather around with their cups of tea, and they would all gossip about where their young man was taking them that night, what they had done with the young man the night before, where they would be going this weekend with their young man. All of them except my Auntie Bessie, who would sit there tight-lipped with a tea and cup, drinking and sipping and not saying a word. For my great Uncle Jack was still an apprentice, didn't earn much, and whatever little money he had to give to his own parents for his safekeeping and for his upkeep. So, when all the girls would turn around to my Auntie Bessie and say, "Well, Bess, where's Jack taking you this weekend?" My aunt would sit there and say, "Oh, we'll decide something on the day itself." Then they might ask another question. "Has he given you anything?" "Well, she'd say, "he's not earning a great deal, and the little bit he gives to his parents. You know that." And nobody would ask her another question. But when my aunt was out of the office, all the girls would gather around, and of course they gossiped, and they'd say things like, "Poor Bess, he's a good-looking young man, you're her Jack, but a poor Bess. Didn't get a card from him, not even a letter, not even a flower from the park, or from the back garden. She must love him," they observed. Well, the girls would come in with certain stories, and one might say, "Oh, last night we were walking along a cold nap. Moon was full in the sky. Young man, well, he took me to the bench, and we just sat there holding hands, my head resting on his shoulder, as we looked up to the Bristol Channel before us, just watching the moonlight playing on the waves of the channel as they came rolling in. And we could see the little lights twinkling, little towns in Somerset across the channel. After that, went over to the chippies, walked all the way home, sharing a bag of chips. Girls, it was dead romantic." Another one would come in with another story. "Oh, girls, my young man at the weekend took me to the bioscope to see the latest Rudolph Valentino. Oh, sat there in the darkness, holding hands. And even though I am very fond of my young man, oh, just looking at Mr. Valentino's eyes, those dark, lustrous eyes, looking down at me from the screen. And I tell you something now, girls, my heart flipped over 3-4 times. After that, he took me the long way home, through Romley Park, and we lingered on the doorstep. Oh, it was so romantic. And then the ultimate story. One morning, one of the girls, glad, burst in, saying, "Girls, look." All the girls, including my great Auntie Bessie, left their desks and they crowded around looking at that ring finger on the left hand, which had adorned on it a diamond solitaire ring. "Oh, Glad," they said, "that is gorgeous. It's beautiful." Another one asked, "Glad, tell us, how did he propose?" "Last night, in the garden. Oh, but first I must tell you, my young man Tom, he'd only just gone and spoken to my parents beforehand, asking them what I would like, and getting one of my rings for my finger measurement, and going down to the jeweller's and getting the ring fitted properly, and choosing the setting. Oh, Glad," another one would come in, "forget all that. How did he propose?" "Well, like I said, in the garden after supper, went for a little walk just around where the roses were. Oh, the scent was so intoxicating, and it was still light at that time in the evening. Well, before I could know what was happening, he got down on his knees, took my hand in his, looked deep into my eyes and said, 'Glad, you know I love you. Will you marry me?' Oh, oh, well, tears came to my eyes, started running down my cheek. And you know, from the pocket of his trousers, he brought out this beautiful little blue leather box, opened it, and it was the ring he chose for me. Girls, we're officially engaged." "Oh," they all said in chorus, "Glad, that is such lovely news." Another one would say, "Well, when are you getting married?" "Oh, can't tell you when," Glad replied back. "We've got to save up for a house deposit before we can do that." "But girls, it's official, as you know. Well, as I said, we're engaged." And all the girls were pleased, were glad, well, including my Auntie Bessie. Well, it was coming up to Valentine's, and all the girls were bubbling with excitement as to whether young men would take them out for a cup of tea, or a pastry, or maybe take them to the bioscope, or maybe send them some flowers, all except my Auntie Bessie, who by this time, well, the resentment was kind of beginning to build up, because my great Uncle Jack didn't really give her any love tokens, like a flower, a box of chocolates, or even a card. And my Auntie Bessie decided that this Valentine's, her Jack was going to do something for her, so that she could come and tell the girls. Because I think in her heart of hearts, she knew that they gossiped about them. They meant well, the girls did, but they gossiped. So that evening, when my Auntie Bessie met my Uncle Jack, she said, "Right, Jack, I have had it up to here. Every day I go into the office and it's the same old thing. The girls all talk about what their young men have given them. A flower, a card, a letter, a poem, or where they're going to take them. And, well, I appreciate you haven't got much money, but you could send me a letter. And with Valentine's coming up, well, send me a card, send me a letter. Otherwise, Jack, we'll be through." My great uncle was flabbergasted. "Yes, you know I love you. You can't say that." "I can, and I will. Valentine's is coming up. A card, a flower, box of chocolates. Otherwise, we're through." Well, the morning of Valentine's dawned, and my great Auntie Bessie was getting ready to go to work. She left her bedroom. She went out onto the landing, and she hoped in her heart of hearts that my great Uncle Jack had listened. She went down the stairs slowly. And as she got to the bottom, she saw, there by the front door, on the mat, a crisp white envelope. Her eyes grew glued to it as she slowly walked down the hallway passage to it. As she got closer, she could see it was addressed to Miss Bessie Ford. And it was Jack's handwriting. She bent down, picked it up. Oh, it was good quality paper, that envelope. She pressed it to her heart. He'd taken notice of what she'd said. Oh, with that, she turned, and I think she might have floated up the stairs back to her bedroom. She thought to herself, I won't open this here. When I get to the office, I'll show those girls that my Jack thinks well of me. So she opened her handbag and slipped in that white envelope. She then put her hat on and her coat and her gloves, picked up her handbag, went down the stairs, through the passageway, out the front door, floating all the way to work. When she breezed into the office, she was smiles, and all the other girls noticed how happy she looked. Well, all that morning, flowers started to arrive at the office from all the young girls, young men sending them to them. Boxes of chocolates, cards. Come tea break, they were all talking with a great deal of excitement, where they were going to go to, what they were going to do with their young men. It came to my great Auntie Bessie's turn. Bess, where's your Jack going to take you? Has he sent you something? They asked. My great aunt drew herself up. As a matter of fact, he has sent me something. I'll get it for you. I wanted to share it with you. Went back to her desk, brought her handbag out of the drawer, opened it, and extracted that crisp white envelope, where all the eyes of all the girls zoomed in on it like a magnet. Come on, Bess, they said. Come on back. Sit down. Let us know. We're dying with curiosity. My aunt then made her way back to where they were all sitting in a circle. She opened the envelope and she took out a neatly folded piece of paper. She opened it, and as she read it, the smile that had been lighting up her whole face drained away like water down a plug hole. All the girls looked at each other. Everything all right, Bess? Could be better, she said. Here, and she flung it in their faces. One of them took it. Oh, all right. It does say love in it, Bess. For what the letter read was, Dear Bess, here's a letter you wanted from your ever-loving Jack. Indeed, he had declared his love. He had put love in there. He had responded to what she'd asked him to do for Valentine's. And you know, as one of the girls observed, it must have been love, because about 6 months later, my great Auntie Bessie married my great Uncle Jack. And it was a long and happy marriage. So it must have been love. I hope you've enjoyed that story. My mother used to tell us that story from time to time. And yes, I met my great Auntie Bessie and great Uncle Jack, and they were very happy each time I met them. Thank you.